Hello. So today's practice is kind of a counter to last week's practice, and you need 2 blankets and 2 blocks. It's kind of, I'm going to call it a Yinstorative class. We're going to move some, we're going to stretch some, we're going to chill some, and do that all in combination with each other. So we'll start on bellies, and have your blanket, like if you had it folded in and mounted, undo it one so that it's I don't know, folded half and then half again, right? And then another half. So that it's this square with a nice cushy layer. And you'll put your hips and low belly right at the edge, at the top. So we get this little, just the tiniest, but a little lift in the hips to find a little bit of space between the lumbar spine, or the lumbar vertebrae. And then arms however you want in Makrasana or down by your sides, and then head however you want that to be positioned. And just start noticing what that little tiny lift changes about the way that you are laying. Maybe there's a little bit of pressure on the tops of the thighs with the rest of the blanket. Maybe you can feel the length coming into your lumbar spine. Maybe you can feel more pressure in the front ribs. And start to increase the length and depth of your inhales and exhales. And notice what each does or elicits in your body. Maybe on the exhales you feel a little bit more pressure in your belly. So the idea here is that maybe there will be more opportunity for your belly muscles and your pelvic floor and your SI joints to release with that little extra push from the blanket. And also that it's not super intense. So 2 more full deep breaths, just right where you are. And slide your hands outside of your rib cage. Peel yourself up and off of your belly and onto your knees and tabletop. Leave the blanket where it is and bring your knees and shins to the blanket. If you want, You know what? Forget I said that. Find your blocks and bring them under your hands where you would have them for tabletop, just like we always use them. And come into cat and cow. So round your spine. Inhale, release the belly down, tailbone comes up. Couple more times. And find yourself in neutral. Bring your right foot out to the side, and then with toes facing forward toward the top of your mat, like the back of a warrior 2 foot. And on your inhale, shift yourself forward. On your exhale, shift yourself all the way back as if you were coming into child's pose with an extended leg, which we will in just a moment. So inhale forward. Exhale, hips all the way back. So moving through this a couple more times, just as slowly as you like. And the next time your hips are back, leave them back. Let your right foot do whatever it wants to. And you can move your hands off of the blocks and move your arms to wherever works for you. So since we're in this kind of cockeyed position with one leg extended out and the other tucked in, it might not be that your upper body can do the same thing as it does in a regular child's pose. So use your blocks, use your other blanket to make your upper body comfortable. And start to settle in. You might have a lot of feedback coming from that right inner thigh. From your left knee, your left hip, your left ankle, your low spine. Because your pelvis is doing something different on both sides. And make the adjustments that you need to be able to stay for 5 full breaths. When you've reached the bottom of the 5th breath, slowly is the key word here. Make your way back up. Keep the leg extended for right now. Reposition your blocks so that they're under your hands like a tabletop. And ever so slowly, slide the right knee back to where it started, and give yourself a moment to absorb that big change. Maybe it's not so very big in you, but it's a difference for sure. And when that feels resituated, sorted in your body, send your left foot out, toes facing forward, and start to shift forward and back here. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. In these first several times, you don't have to come all the way to seated. It's kind of, we're doing a little courtesy to the inner thigh. Just, hey, just heads up, this is where we're headed. Just a little introduction. And then, of course, and I should have said on the other side, if any of that is uncomfortable, add another blanket or put that blanket between the back of the thigh and the calf to relieve some of the pressure on the knee joint or the hip joint. Make it sustainable, however you do that. Next time your hips are back, stay back. And make it a place that you can stay. Notice what's happening on this side, if it's the same or different. If the intensity of the stretch on the inner thigh is different, or the low back, or the pressure in the hip, or even like maybe pointing your left toes down to the mat. See what happens to the top of your foot there. And 5 full breaths. I've lost count, so when you're finished with 5, make your way back up, rearrange your blocks, use those other 3 limbs to support pulling the left knee back into where it started, and give yourself some time to allow that to integrate. Let the circulation return. And make your knees wide. Come back into child's pose. Support that however you like. We will be here for 5 breaths. The bottom of the 5th exhale, that might have been kind of fast. Take your time. Make your way back up. Leave your blanket where it is. We're leaving it for the whole practice. Come to seated for a moment. Bring your feet out in front of you. And just let them be there for a moment. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Just finding a different position, a similar position in the spine, but very different for the backs of the legs and the knees and the ankles. Not so much the hips, it's still a flexion in the hips, but in a completely different way. Two more breaths. And make your way back up. Grab your blocks again. Bring them to the highest height. Every time I say highest height, it makes me think of Mary Poppins' Let's Go Fly a Kite. It's the only time I've ever heard highest height be used. Okay, so step your right foot in between your blocks and make it not the biggest lunge you've ever done. So when you have your right foot forward, you're kind of at 90-90 everywhere. Maybe a little more than 90 in the front, but not coming into the splits. On your exhale, shift forward, just as a little trial to the front of the left hip flexors. Exhale, hips back, toes up, and then take your left hip forward, just for kicks. Inhale into your lunge. Exhale back. One more time, each direction. And when you're forward, stay in that lunge and bring your elbows down to your blocks. You know what, that doesn't even work for me. Actually, maybe move your blocks to the inside of that lunge. And that may be way too big. If it is, come up. And wherever you are, we'll stay for 3 full breaths. So really allowing the hips to sink. Kind of allow that right knee to fall out or hug it in. I mean, just depends on, I don't know, how it feels to you. Try it both ways and then pick. And same as with the extended leg child's pose, slow. Shift hips up first to a neutral here. Move your blocks one on either side of the foot and send your hips back, straighten the front leg as straight as it wants to go and pull your toes up. Then again, take that left hip forward. Without letting the right toes fall to the right, pull the big toe up toward the ceiling. Yikes. I don't know what that does to you. Whew. But I'm getting some information from my right hip. 2 more full breaths. Wow. Okay, back off of that. Come to kneeling. Come off of your hands. Give them a little wrist love. Inhale, arms up. Cactus your arms. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to the blocks, left leg steps forward. Now you know what we're in for, so adjust accordingly. Exhale or inhale forward. Exhale back. Pull the toes up. And a couple of times. Next time you're forward, stay. Walk your blocks to the inside of the left foot. Come down to your elbows or not. Let your knee fall out to the side or not. 3 full breaths. Make your way up, make your way back, frame the foot with your blocks, toes up, and then right hip forward. Keep the toes pointing up to the ceiling. 3 breaths here. Come to kneeling. Move your blocks out of the way. Walk down to your belly. Take a cheek to the mat. Actually, move your belly back to where it started on your blanket. Just a little reset here. Then bring your hands to your rib cage, elbows pull toward one another, 3 cobras. The height of your choosing. Peel yourself up on the 3rd one. Now you can move your blanket out of your way. Make your way to your back. Make any movements that you want to. If you feel like you need to roll around a little bit to readjust some things, do that. And then let your eyes close, your legs and arms come down long. And your breath to settle. Stay here as long as you like. We have no amazing inspirational quotes to get you through your day for today. So when you become ready, roll to your side. Maybe take stock of how you feel. Decide which parts of how you feel you will bring forward with you into your day. and which parts you might be ready to leave behind. Press up to seated. Inhale, arms up. Pull hands to heart. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Have a good day.